Righty folks, and welcome back to more Week 7 of the AEL Uni season for Dota 2. We've got some great games going on tonight. I'm Kadius, joined here on the casting desk by Ares. How are we going?
Very well, very well. We should have an exciting series for us tonight. Two teams battling it out. Of course, they're also positioned very high up in the groups at the moment. 5Headelaide currently in second place and Left Right Goodnight also in fourth place. So this match really is just going to determine seeding, of course, for the playoffs that will be occurring next week.
All right, definitely does sound like it's going to be an exciting one. And both these teams are teams that I've seen in the past. They've definitely done some impressive things, particularly, but I think it's been a while. Obviously we've had a few patches now, the 7.3 patch changing a lot, and 7.3C changing, a bit more as well. So these are teams that, I haven't quite seen them play in this new current meta, so this is going to be very exciting to watch. Currently just waiting for them to go ahead. But is there anything that you're particularly looking for maybe between the two teams that we've got here tonight?
I'm just in because I think we got the cast 5Headelaide. I can't remember if at least I was with you or I did it earlier on with Bard, and they look like a solid team overall. Of course, a step behind UOW, who haven't completely lost the series just yet. They're only one tie, so that's a pretty impressive feat for them. But yeah, I'm just excited to see how 5Headelaide have been able to continue to develop over the time of the group stages, and for Left Right Goodnight as well, to see how they can kind of start to build some momentum heading into the groups.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Queen of Pain and Dawnbreaker getting taken off the board by 5Headelaide right away, and the Omni Knight ban from Left Right Goodnight as well. See what they choose to go with for second ban. It does look like it's going to be a Night Stalker here.
Okay, well, this definitely feels like it's nothing crazy at the moment. You could, I guess, argue the Queen of Pain ban, but that's still someone that is getting picked up a decent amount. Teams are trying to see if it's worth value of a pick or not. But with regard to the Omni Knight, Night Stalker, and the Dawnbreaker, these are heroes that we're seeing a decent amount. I guess the Dawnbreaker, of course, the new addition. People are, they probably have experimented a lot through their pubs, so I wonder how much game time we're going to get to see out of this hero once we get into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Dawnbreaker is one that's certainly rising up in popularity at the moment. Would expect that one to be likely going to be one of the picks that we see a lot at TI coming up soon. But Spirit Breaker first pick here for 5Headelaide, and the response from Left Right Goodnight looking to be that Bane Mirana. Two potential support picks here very early on in the draft. I haven't seen Mirana in a while, actually. What are our thoughts there?
It's just a really strong combo. It's very easy to execute. Nightmare into Arrow. There are definitely weaknesses across the board with your initial support opener, but I think you have to be very content with having already a rock solid roaming gank duo almost in the Bane Mirana, and definitely I think the Bane is one of the best supports right now. I've seen it picked up a little bit over the past couple of weeks, and people are starting to build popularity in at least how they like to play with it. So I think we'll definitely start to see that a little bit more. But I know you asked about the Mirana. This is something that's we don't see as often. It wasn't that for a while was first phase material, and now it's a little bit more situational here and there, but it's still a strong hero, I feel like.
Certainly. Well, one thing that is no stranger to the current patch, and that is going to be Silencer being picked up. Definitely a support that we see quite a lot at the moment, especially in the AEL season, I feel like. As for the bans here, Weaver getting taken off the board, no surprise there. Arguably, one of the carries, if not the carry, of, patch 7.3C being picked up quite a lot here.
Dire team back.
Yeah, this is... Well, I'm actually been starting to see Weaver played as a little bit of a support, at least a team like Galaxy Racer are attempting it. So it's fascinating to see how, I really think the Weaver is super strong as a 1, but people also, wherever they can, they'll try and flex and get greedy.
Yeah, definitely support Weaver is something that I've seen picked up a little bit as well. You're right there, but Slark and Bloodseeker going to be joining him on the chopping block here for Phase 2 bans. Slark as well, obviously, been seeing a lot, whereas the Bloodseeker I definitely don't think I've seen nearly
10
as much
seconds remaining.
per se. I know that Bloodseeker has been kind of
Dire
picked
team
as a bit of
ban.
counter to the Weaver in general, because Rupture does deal with time lapse a little bit, but with Weaver taken off the table, the Bloodseeker ban is a little bit interesting there. And Sven, no surprises. What are your thoughts with the rest of these bans that we've got going on here?
So the Bloodseeker, I'm seeing a
10
lot through
seconds
the
remaining.
Southeast Asia, the Pro Series tournament that they have at the moment. It's just
5
because Pangolier
seconds
is one of the
remaining.
strongest heroes with how they changed him. There is a lot of people flexing the Pango as a 5 a lot more. I'm actually seeing very minimal games of the Pangolier played as a core role. So it's just a great answer to that hero. You just rupture him. He's got no involvement in fights. And I've even seen teams try and play the Bloodseeker as a support as well. And they're actually doing it at a pretty decent level. So, maybe for 5Headelaide, they might look to potentially go into a Darkseer to enable the Spirit Breaker if this is a Spirit Breaker 4. Or they could even look for a Pango still and open the flexibility of the Silencer. So, or at least what they have on paper at the moment, the Bloodseeker would have been a decent counter to deal with the Spirit Breaker.
Really does make sense. Looks like they're going to finish it off with a Ricky ban and Tiny. It's going to be the first pickup of our next pick phase here. So that's always exciting. It's always fun to watch a Tiny. Now, definitely, Silencer is a fairly, I would say, squishy hero. Fairly susceptible to Tiny kind of 2-button comboing him 100 to 0. So could be a scary game to be the Silencer here.
Yeah, it's also, I don't think it matters if you play the Silencer as like a 2 or a 5. You're still going to squishy no matter what. And oh, this is interesting. Is this going to be a mid? Okay, it's either mid Silencer or mid Spirit Breaker. So we got something coming out the hat here. I mean, Silencer core is, we're still seeing that a decent amount as well. So nothing too crazy there. But I'm surprised that 5Headelaide went for the Legion, the Tusk. I mean, both Says versus the Bane and Mirana is very nice, but I don't know if they needed 2.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I know Legion Commander, the press the attack, I believe it's a shard, is pretty decent, actually. If you're playing into comps that do have a lot of lockdown, you can kind of accidentally dodge a whole load of CC with it. So it definitely does seem like a good comp to try and play that into. But yeah, you're right. The Legion and the Tusk is definitely going to be a lot of peel, and Medusa being locked in here for the side of left, right, good night. What are our thoughts on having such a bit of a late game threat like the Medusa here against this lineup?
I think I mean, you've got no answers to the Medusa at the moment. She doesn't really care about a duel, considering it's also, you've got the potential of a Bane being on the backline there to just support you. So I like it overall. I mean, it gives you an ancient farming hero, it gives you a win condition as the game goes on. Double ranged in the safe lane might be a little weak to the Legion Tusk. We'll see if the double melee on 5Headelaide can kind of run over that. But my one concern is maybe they put the Silencer as a core now, and or the intel stolen with glaives throughout the fights could be definitely reduce the effective health that she gets through the mana shield.
It does make sense there. We're looking to see Kunkka taken off the board here in final phase. Not wanting to deal with the teamfight presence that I suppose he can bring to the table. And waiting for our next ban here from left, right, good night. I know the Ricky ban is interesting. Ricky, not a hero that we see a whole lot in the meta here, but I don't know, I guess there's something about 5Headelaide. Maybe the players, maybe the lineup, they just were terrified of, the purple goat. Do you have any?
Yeah, it's also
reason?
probably. Sorry, go.
I was gonna say, do you have any reasoning on why the Ricky was being banned out here?
Well, I think it works very good with Medusa's lineup, so that's a bit interesting. But of course, they banned it a couple picks prior. It could just be knowledge that we don't have of 5Headelaide, at least their position 1, who might like to play the Ricky. It's a decent way to get on top of the Bane, Mirana as well. Like, they don't have. If Ricky can definitely get to a stage where he can kill the Mirana through the smoke cloud duration before she can get her leaps off out of range, so then that's a bit of an issue considering how squishy they are. But I have to imagine it's just something that 5Headelaide like to play.
Makes sense. Templar Assassin going to be banned out off the table here, and then going towards final bans. It does look like 5Headelaide striking down Leshrak as their final ban here of the match. Not wanting to deal with the tower siege potential, I suppose, here that Leshrak can potentially offer to a team.
They're going to pick a PL, that's why they banned it. I have to imagine, just against the Medusa. There's a lot of single target on left, right, good night. You're banning positional 2s right now, which I mean, I don't hate the sniper ban at all, but I think the Lesh really stands out to this eventual PA. I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't go it, considering what they banned, but you're looking for your 1 to pair up with the Silencer or Spirit Breaker 5. If it's a Silencer 5, you want a melee hero. If it's a Spirit Breaker 5, you probably want a range, so Drow can fit that role. Very much like the Sniper, you've got 3 melee heroes to go in front of you, but I think the PL can definitely reign supreme this game, especially with the Leshrak banned out, and then it would force then left, right, good night to potentially put the Tiny as a 3 and go for like an Ember, or actually, Tiny is a decent way to deal with PL illusions. I do say I've seen a lot of people going for like an early Aghanim shot, and it just heavily relies on if you can snowball the early game and get a bunch of kills. Of course, this is all hypothetical, depending on if they do go the Phantom Lancer.
And there it is.
Okay. So the PL ban was, the Leshrak ban was very obvious for why the PL was getting picked up, because it's one of the biggest counters. You need AoE damage and someone who can run him down early and take towers. So again, to fulfill the role that you're missing now in the Leshrak, the only Tiny can, I think you can put Tiny 2 and then go for Legion Wood is one of the better offlaners. You can Underlord. So they do Ember. Okay. So it's going to mean that a Tiny's 3, which is not as easy to play, but there's not a lot of control at all for them to go against the Ember. It's also a great way to get on top of the Silencer as the whole game goes on. The big issues with Medusa is that you're fine with sitting in the middle of the fights and right-clicking people because of how beefy you are. The only issue is you can't catch the backline, so you want some... You want a hero to be able to provide that, and that's why I was speaking about with the Ricky, that it pairs really well with Medusa because of his gap close to the squishy supports on the backline, and Ember fulfills that role. So I really like the pick from left, right, good night. He just... I hope he doesn't go Battle Fury. If it's a Maelstrom, BKB, he'll definitely do his role.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, but this is going to be left, right, good night esports looking to take out 5Headelaide here, and as we mentioned, this is merely seeding between these two teams. Who wins and who loses, I don't think is going to affect too much in terms of who makes it out of group stage. It's just going to be where they make it out of group stage too. But Ares, before we hop into this game, if you want to mention, of course, our wonderful sponsors that are bringing us all of the goodies that our teams are battling it out for here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Chatime, the fastest growing AEST franchise in Australia with over 120 Chatime tea breweries with a commitment to quality ingredients and mix-ins and a flair for innovative flavor combinations. We've got AOC, which is a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Indomie noodles are made from carefully selected ingredients, the best quality flour and fresh spices from the natural resources of Indonesia, giving it a unique and delicious taste. And then lastly, Rig develops a headset delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Like you said, none of this would be possible without our wonderful streamers, and we've got a beautiful game to get ourselves underway here.
Yeah, we're going to be hopping in here. There was a smoke that we did see come through from this Dire side, but it doesn't look like they've found anything here in this Radiant Triangle.
What are they doing up here? Have they got any wards? Vikarut's got one. So how are they playing the lanes at the moment?
Jill does have to watch out. He's getting chased out by the Tusk.
Who's playing mid? This is a mid Legion. Offlane Silencer? Offlane Silencer. Mid Legion. Interesting. I wonder how this matchup's going to go versus the Ember. What's the Legion's armor? It's got 3 at the moment. I've seen a lot of Embers go like max out Slight and Orb of Corrosion, which is a lot of physical damage, and it's very hard to deal with. So I wonder if he's going to continue that down that route or just a Flame Guard. I feel like this is a bit of a farm fest mid.
We'll have to wait and see. There's a little bit of a issue with me clicking on people by the looks of things here.
Yeah, you've got to drag. Yeah, you have to. You've got to box over them.
Is that a known bug?
Yeah, it's a recent one. Got with how they changed the overlay. So
that's okay. No stranger dragging boxes.
You hate to see it because it's a Phantom Lancer game as well. That doesn't make it any fun. Man, the first day that I had to go through this, we had like multiple Phantom Lancer games. I'm like, yes, this is so enjoyable having to somehow drag on the right illusion. Thank you very much.
Well, either way, if we want to be having a look at these lanes we've got going on here, obviously PL into Tiny. Tiny normally a very scary hero in terms of bursting people down, but you know, PL a little bit difficult to kill because of Doppelganger.
Yeah, he is a hero that is not as easy to kill off. I mean, it depends on the position 4, but they do have a combo. You can go Avatos into Arrow. That could be a nice way to kill off Denoku. I mean, we'll see. He's probably going to have to bring out some stats, though, to keep him alive early on. He's going for the Wand. I wonder if he goes Wraithband, because this will be a bit of a brawling lane, and often Wraithbands are required in such lane.
Yeah, definitely could be looking for a Wraithband here. It has these Slippers of Agility and the Circlet in his inventory, so I could only imagine that's what he's going towards here. First up.
Tiny mid matchup. Continuing. Vicar. So they're both 14 at the moment. Ember's gone a 0-1-2 build, so it looks like more than likely he's going to put a lot more emphasis in the Flame Guard. And Vicar, they both already have their bottle. So again, more than likely just going to be the farm fest that we have at the moment. Bottom lane though, how's this looking? So a double range versus the range. Is this a position 3? Okay, position 3 Spirit Breaker. Cool. So it's something I've been seeing a lot more through Southeast Asia. I know also if anyone was watching a lot of the tournaments over in Europe, like ESL for an example, and I think OGA, Dota Pit, we were seeing a lot more of the core Spirit Breaker. I don't have the greatest feeling of the hero still, but I've seen a lot of potential treads echo top lane. Danoku. Oh my lord.
Does get the salve given to him here. It's going to get broken by Chill though. A great pickup there from position 4.
Yeah, back with the Spirit Breaker though, like this hero, he just creates chaos in fights. You just charge the backline.
Ooh, that's going to be Sloth Tofu chucking a tree at WDK's head, picking up first blood.
Yeah, he's a tricky man to go into. Bottom lane as well, might have another kill.
TK is just going to get auto attack down, and Sacy looking for Slain here. The bash procs not quite in his favor there. Might find himself a cheeky courier though, and yes, indeed he will. Will he pay the price for it though? As Qilong Kwa chases him down with these Medusa auto attacks, but what can we say about Spirit Breaker? That is a very fast bull. He's going to be able to run on out of there. Spirit Breaker position 3, really showing that, it does have the stuff to survive in these double range lanes. I believe you were saying something about it before as a pick.
Yeah, I was a bit worried at how the double range would fare. To keep in mind that the Bane is a very, very strong laner. So often you can offset some of the weaknesses that will come through with the double ranged lane combo. But Bane, we see 0-2-1 build at the moment. Nightmare's been buffed up a decent amount. You can trade very efficiently with Brain Sap too. So I think as long as they keep the creep equilibrium, then they should be okay down bottom. Unfortunately, they haven't blocked the hard camp, which is a worry.
It's going to be a nice little pull here from the Dire.
You almost had that too.
Sacy should be
Do you know the backstory of Qilong Kwa, this name? Do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
Okay. So, firstly, do you know who BJ is?
Yes.
Oh, hang on, top lane. We got a backstab.
Chill is getting chased down by the snowball here, gets the leap out, but the duel comes through. Avalanche doing its best to buy him a little bit of time, but in comes LKNS. Does have the remnants available. Danilq escaping on into the trees. WDK, unfortunately, going to go down to Sloth Tofu. It's turned into a 2-on-2. Danilq, Phantom rushing out to the range creep. This Ember is in hot pursuit. The Slider Fist does do a little bit of damage, but not enough to finish him off. And Sloth Tofu was threatening Vicaroot with that avalanche there, but there's no follow-up.
Well, that's a nice rotation, picking up the first duel victory. Even great though from the Ember to be able to TP over and provide some assistance. He's got a regen. Don't you love to see it here from the Ember? And they're still actually keeping Legion up top at the moment. He's underneath an observer ward, so they shouldn't get anything out of it. This is a lot of time wasted. But is he gonna force a TP back? Yeah, we'll see. Vicaroot, how he's looking at the moment. I mean, he's got... I'm just intrigued to see what a position 2 Legion will provide different. Like, I don't know.
Bane getting charged on the bot side, though. Sacy looking to wail down these auto attacks. In comes LNKNS, though, looking for TK. Slider Fist does the job. Does he have Sacy as well? Unfortunately, doesn't have Shackles to lock down the cow, so they're just going to find the one. Nice little trade back, though.
Radiant's middle
And yeah, the
tower.
Spirit
Early
Breaker
net worth lead.
really showing himself that this Spirit Breaker can definitely, make those collapses onto the double range, just like you were saying, and make this Bane not have the best of times in the landing phase.
Yeah, he is always a hero that will get on top of you, especially with level 6 soon to be acquired, which will give Sacy a much better time. They're still looking to try and pick up duel victories for Vicaroot up top.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
See if they can catch out Chill here.
Dire's
They have the
Now
damage
looking
with
for
just a toss.
Snowball. Double leap, though. Another one. Going to be keeping him at arm's reach.
Dire's
WDK
middle
nearly
tower
finding the
is under
courier there, but
attack.
not quite.
Danilq's already back and farming up the jungle, so he's content with what he got out of the laning stage.
Ember is coming
And
up here,
more than
though.
likely,
There's the haste. Might find Danilq.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
yeah, they're more than likely going to give top up just to the support, so WDK can try and get a little bit of experience and some gold as well. It'll be important for the toss to probably pick up some items this game. Potential soaring bottom lane.
Sacy going to be getting chased down.
Dire's
Qilong
top
Kwa.
tower is under attack.
It is well, Ember.
The Ice Shard's barely missing there. There's Ember. Hoping to see another day.
That he will, and for Radiant, no stacks at the moment for the Medusa, who's having a very solid lane. Level 7, Treads working on the Yasha into the Manta,
Dire's structures
which
are
she's going to have a pretty free time here. I mean, Spirit Breaker can at least make a... Oh, TP back. That's so alright, so as a Spirit Breaker, you don't really need to use TPs. You can just charge on back the lane, so
is under attack.
at least they're going to know that TP's down for 70 seconds. It might not cost them, but you definitely don't want to try and make that a habit as much as possible, and on how mobile this hero is. And I think that is a big reason why we're seeing his resurgence into a core.
Yeah,
It
he's
might be
looking for the
troubled by
charge
the
here
outpost.
onto
Radiant structures.
Chill OCE under the outpost, like you said. Nether Strike comes through, and that's going to be a very big amount of burst damage. Slane trying to use the Nightmare to keep the Spirit Breaker off his cores as much as possible. It might have bought him enough time. No, Sacy getting one of the luckiest bash procs of his life there to finish off Slane in the perfect amount of damage that he needed.
Alright, well, Danilq, it's nice at least that Dire are going to have a way to deal with Medusa as the game goes on. PL probably the biggest counter? at least with a way to mana burn. I don't want to say biggest. There's a lot of counters to the Medusa. Phantom Lancer definitely top tier. You could say top 3 potentially, and you know, he's a bit behind, unfortunately. Doesn't farm as fast as what a Medusa does as well. It's nice at least that the Phantom Lancer's on Dire and Medusa isn't on the Dire side, but mid lane.
Yes, Sloth Tofu does have Spirit Breaker charging in on him. He's going to cancel it early. Both members here are going to decide to not do anything. Hovering around the mid lane. Going to try and maybe get something done.
Okay, so Vicar is throwing Blade Mail first. Uncontrollable damage on Ember, Dusa, Tiny kind of. I feel like they need a blink. Your Spirit Breaker can start fights, but if you're playing this position 2 Legion, I feel like you're all off the back of getting dual victories. Otherwise, you're not going to scale as a core. So I'm worried that he won't find as many dual damage as possible as Medusa's getting charged.
In comes Sacy looking for the damage. Pops the ultimate though. Sacy might have bitten off more than we can chew. We talked about that very squishy silencer as TK getting blown up before the fight even starts. Now, Sacy looking to run for his life. In goes WDK looking for Qilongqua on the back line. But the Fiend's grip from Slain to stop him in his tracks. And that is going to be a nice and easy pickup over there. Over to Sloth Tofu and Vicaroot. To be one of the only surviving members of the fight to make it out alive, and what a turnaround.
Yeah, just the game keeps getting a lot better here for the side of Radiant. All the space you're providing, and the fact that your position 3 is second in net worth as well, so Sloth's gonna have a great timing in the blink.
TPs do come through now, looking to maybe chase him down. In comes Sacy. You have to be careful, looking to go in onto Vicaroot first with the avalanche into the toss. Pops press the attack, trying to get himself a little bit of distance. Meanwhile, Sacy caught up in the Nightmare. Chill, not going to connect the arrow off of it.
It's just space. Deucer is up top farming. Meanwhile, Phantom Lance is getting a little bit of catch up at the moment. Daniel Koo cannot show up to these fights before the Diffusal Blade is completed. So my eyes on at least how his farming patterns are looking and what they can get. But the big issue is the fact that Dire haven't taken a tower. So they have bottom lane.
Forest Punch is going to connect onto Sloth Tofu. Great Nightmare. Keeps Sacy at bay for a little while longer, but he ends up getting woken up by his teammate. This heads up play there by WDK. They do find themselves the pickup on the Sloth Tofu underneath that Radiant Tier 1 tower.
So it's just to defend the towers as long as possible. So there is going to be a bit of a concern with, again, this PL is not... Sorry, the Legion is not getting damaged. I think... At 10, at the moment of being in position 2, you'd be really worried. They're going to look for a smoke and maybe connect by the triangle, but still, very good spot to pop the smoke. And he outed.
And the Global Silence does get popped there, which is interesting. In comes Sloth Tofu, though,
Nice
looking
play.
for Avalanche Toss. My goodness, that is just so much damage as they find a quick and easy pickup into WDK and Vicaroot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really intrigued to see how PL is going to go late game, because I feel like this is all we're banking on at the moment. The fact that Daniel Koo can somehow hope to try and deal with the Medusa, but you've got the Ember. Where is the Ember? What's he got right now? Okay, almost Maelstrom, so he's definitely itemizing to help deal with the Phantom Lancer, and Tiny as well will...
They will.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. He's already got the itemization queued up as well. Echo, Agshard, beautifully recognized from Sloth. And that's the name of the game here. Just Phantom Lancer is the only worry that you need to have. So itemize to deal with him accordingly.
Yeah, we did just see Danilku jump onto Medusa, and it took about a second and a half maybe for her entire mana pool to just vanish. So definitely now that he does have this defusal completed, you're completely right about the threat that he poses to the position 1 here of the Radiant side.
Yeah, so mid lane.
There's going to be a charge onto the Ember by the looks of things. You might not see it coming. Great Sleight of Fist, though, actually dodges out and uses the Remnant to get over the Ice Shards. What an escape from LNKNS.
Yeah, beautifully done. It's going to be just, again, space. Name of the game here. I mean, Dusa, I am looking to see what her timings are going to be. Probably, I think she might need an earlier BKB to deal versus the Phantom Lancer, but the rest of Radiant got to be careful how they group up around the map, because you still want to be getting as many items as possible here for the Tiny and the Ember.
Certainly is. And this Medusa still just farming it up. Off in that Dire safe lane by herself, farming the jungle. She's been here for most of the game by the looks of things. She did get that her Manta style completed now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Do you think there's anything that she could build potentially to help against the PL threat, or do you think that's just something she's going to have to live with this game?
Is this the Mirana you're speaking about, sorry?
No, the Medusa.
Medusa? Hold that thought. They are smoking up and they're trying to catch the Ember.
Does look like they're going to find him this time in the mid lane. Global Silence, making sure to cancel out any of his cheeky Remnant tricks this time. But the Radiant are going to be quick on their feet, looking to take down potentially this tower. As a result, Qilin Quan going to get a couple auto attacks on it. Dire doesn't look like they're going to rotate up for it. They're willing to handshake this one. Top tier 2 for mid tier 1.
And you've got to start hitting that tower. Just everyone get on board. If you can trade this tier 2 for tier 1, Dire giving up outposts you hate to see. They're going to try and TP back and defend.
TPs do come through. Here comes Vikarut looking for the duel. Stacey goes forward. The charge connects. Does have Nether Strike not available at the moment. But Vikarut going to steal that one up. Sloth Tofu able to get a nice TP out of there. So they're only going to find the 1 kill onto the Mirana, unfortunately. Kill caught sleeping. And they actually keep the tower alive.
Yeah, 11 health. You really hate to see it. They're going to deny it? Yeah, they will. Okay, so
Dire's top tower
it's still... I mean, still you get an outpost now for Radiant, which is pretty important. The fact that you now have a lot of extra experience in Garnered, and just the map control that it can provide you as well makes it a lot easier to take Roshan, which I don't think Radiant can do for a while, but it'll depend on if there's any minus armor. Like, what has the Mirana got at the moment? She's got a Blightstone. I wouldn't hate... She's going to go Yules. It's a great way to deal with the Global Silence, the Legion Commander Jewel as well. So I like this defensive item. What's Slane looking for on the Bane too? He's going for an Aether Lens. So Bane's going to have a bit harder of a time. He actually might need a survivability item instead of the Aether, like a Ghost Scepter. Because there's not a lot of magical damage that Dire have. But we'll see where they're looking for an avenue for the smoke on Radiant. So they've got 3 moving towards the top side of the map.
See if they're able to find anyone. Not going to be anyone in this topside jungle by the looks of things, but as you mentioned, obviously they are just going to beeline for that outpost. Try and grab that one away as soon as possible. He's going to grab it for himself.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Are scanning.
Dire side finally grabbing this safe lane tower. Taking them quite some time, but they are going to be able to grab that one.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Unfortunately, not able to get the outpost themselves because that tier 2 is still standing, but hopefully should open up the map a little bit more for them. They might actually meet Radiant members in the mid lane here. Chill isn't careful. I don't believe they know that they're waiting in the trees here.
Top tower is under attack.
Alku is actually going to be TPing away from this fight, so he won't be present. Chill does pop the ultimate. Moonlight Shadow present for the Radiant side. See if they're able to make a pick with it. In goes Sloth Tofu, the blink into the avalanche toss. Oh my goodness, look at the damage. TK absolutely disappearing before he can even mention that he's getting blinked on.
Let's see if they try and take this tower now. They've got the catapult.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't know if they can get it. Maybe just a little bit of chip damage. But they're looking to jump Danoku.
Press the attack, doing what it does best, providing for the team. Does look like Vikarud is queuing up that Blink Dagger next. Should be a good source of engagement for this team. Having access to the Blink Blade Mail duel.
I am pretty intrigued on the reason why Danoku's gone Vanguard this game. I am not too much of a fan. I think there's going to be a... Who they caught up top? It's just Sazy. I think there's going to be a lot of magical damage at the moment of the game. So I don't know what Vanguard is going to provide you. Like the Embers, Maelstrom procs with the tiny combo. They're taking a fight top.
Yeah, it does look like Sacy going to be on the aggressive here. Caught between two members, but he's actually being fairly durable, soaking up the damage from Qilong Kwa at the moment. Fiend's Grip, though, is going to connect onto TK. He's going to get blown up yet again. Sacy has to watch out for the tree. In comes Sloth Tofu. That's going to be the second pickup here for the Radiant side. Qilong Kwa does finally pop the ultimate to keep Vikarut and Danoku off his tail. But they are going to keep on chasing. Unfortunately, Slane is going to Nightmare one of the Phantom Illusions. Qilong Kwa actually might be caught out here alone from the rest of the team. Danoku would go aggressive, is going to decide not to re-engage. This is going to be Radiant side, though, setting up for Roshan now. 22 minutes into the game.
Off the back of that fight, the Ember, he tried to Remnant to join, but the Legion just scouted out the Remnant place, went for a solo duel. He didn't have the damage to go through, but it was the help of WDK throughout the remaining duration where he controlled him down perfectly, and a little bit of a misstep where he didn't look for another Remnant out. But that was at least a nice target. We saw still there's some issues against the 4 other heroes that Radiant had with Medusa just playing on the front.
Yeah, one thing about this game that I found quite typical of these teams is there's a lot of like 5-person just grouping and moving around the map together, which is something a little more atypical compared to some of the other games that we've seen this season. I think this is definitely... do you think that comes down to the 2 compositions and how kind of catch-focused they are, or...?
Got it.
Yeah, it's if you're going to see something like this, it's mainly reliant on the 2 compositions that either team have. I mean, Dire very pick-off centric with the Spirit Breaker and the Legion, whereas Radiant, you know, you've got the Tiny who can get pickoffs, but the Ember not really with his itemization. And at this stage in the game, the Bane Mirana you struggle with. That's only really if you can maybe, like Bane is already down in a tree line here defending a tower. You get the Nightmare, then the Mirana TP's in. That combo is very good for the first 15 minutes of the game, but after that, you don't really see it come into fruition in regards to pickoff. So it's just Radiant that are enjoying to group up as majority of the team at the moment. And Dire, you do see, in fact, that like the Legion and Spirit Breaker, like they're a bit behind in farm, especially the Legion to his counterpart, but the damage is the one question. Sloth is going to jump in.
Sloth Tofu finding WGK. He's able to get the snowball off in time, though. Chill is going to be the target. Sleight of Fist, though, could have finished him off there, unfortunately. Actually, it's not even the Sleight of Fist. Slane getting a great brain sap there. Finding himself the kill.
Yes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You just see Sloth being able to target down the Tusk. I mean, it has to be keep in mind that Dire going to need to kind of tank themselves up. I mean, WDK's got one fluffy hat, so it has some recognition of this tiny burst potential that he has to keep his eye out for. But what is Danoku looking for next? So he's still finding the Manta. Okay, so he's finding a decent amount of farm. He's only a level behind right now of the Medusa. They're actually going to go for a 5-man smoke here on Dire, and Radiant, they don't have very good wards nearby.
Do you think the Manta's good here, second? Do you think the Dispel is going to be a huge game changer?
Oh. Ooh, they're coming out.
Nice. Vikarut, unfortunately, missing the duel there. Chill As you said, getting the leap out to safety just in time. But it looks like this Dire team, they're not willing to give up just yet as Chill gets tagged by... Ooh, Tattlecue actually just gets blown up by the Tiny before the fight even begins. Stacey, though, looking for these backline squishy supports, but he goes in a little bit too deep, biting off more than he can chew, and now he is running for his life. Tries to pop the hood to buy himself a little bit of time, but oh my goodness, look at the damage coming out from this Ember right now. TK on this Silencer disappears in almost a single sleight of fist, and once again, we see Radiant do what they're so good at, and that is just making these turnarounds.
Yeah, the boys on Radiant, solid play. I don't know how, like, it's because he has a Vanguard. I don't know about this item, man. You don't need a Vanguard this game, you need a hood. If you're gonna go anything, you need the hood versus the Tiny. The Ember Vanguard is not gonna stop you from that damage at all. So that's why he's got survivability issues. You'd never expect a Phantom Lancer to get blown up at the start of a fight like that, but some itemization issues is gonna cost you now as that item is. You're pretty much, as the game goes on, it'll have some effect, but you're wasted about 1900 gold, which would have been Manta by now, which can help you get out of the Ember route, give you a little bit of extra stats against the burst, but also just help you farm. So he needs a lot more time now on PL, which I don't know if he'll get it.
Yeah, definitely Vicaroot was disastrous in that fight there. Missing the key Blink duel onto the Mirana. Something I'm sure he'll try and correct and not let happen again. He does have the shard now, though, that we were talking about. The press the attack shard, giving 1.75 seconds of spell immunity on that press the attack and reducing the dispel cooldown by a couple of seconds. So, going to be quite good against the enemy lineup that we do see from RMIT.
He's not going to keep scaling, though. Like, you can't go that as a position 2 right now where he's only got 10 damage. Like, as a 3, you're okay with it, but you see... He's not playing anything different to what a position 3 would. Whereas you take a look at the Ember and his impact so far is itemizing to deal with the Phantom Lancer. He in fact even wants a little bit more survivability for himself, which I find interesting in the Lincolns because it's only going to stop. I mean, Jewel, Nether Strike. Say that again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's in the name, so I guess he's just got to go for it. But Lincolns is a costly item that doesn't give you a whole lot. So Shivas would do, I mean, a deal with the Phantom Lancer and also probably keep you alive through Jewel. But he's worried because he's been caught out twice now from single target stuns, and he's like, okay, I just want to make sure I always keep my life. And maybe you can even put it onto the Medusa as she goes up high ground. So yeah, there will be value there, no doubt.
Definitely. I mean, maybe he's just kind of assessed, like the main way that he dies is getting Blink into dueled. Just really terrified of that. Wants to make sure that can never happen. Grab himself a nice little Lincolns. Can feel nice and safe.
Yeah, the Lincolns is fine because of the single target lockdown, but you can go for an item like Shiva's, which deals with PL and means you probably don't die through Jewel because of all the armor, because Dire are only physical. I mean, like the Diffusal Blade is, of course, magical damage, but you've got Legion heavy physical, PL heavy physical, Spirit Breaker is a bit in between, Tusk is amplifying physical, so you want armor. And we're also not really taking into account about the Bane for the Nightmare save, and also Mirana's going to have a 15 talent with Moonlight that gives 20% evasion. So you shouldn't die if you get Jewel. If you die, then there's a bit of mistake on how the enemy supports are utilizing your abilities. And I've highlighted this game is the only reason they lose is because Danielku 5v1s pretty much.
Radiant are scanning.
Here's the target of the smoke though. So successful Sam. We'll see if they can burst him up though.
Danielku does have to watch out. Great doppelganger. Maybe gets out of the avalanche. Not quite. Does pop the Manta, but no, the lockdown just too much. RMIT do come up huge, finding themselves that pick off onto Danielku.
Yeah, that's a rough one to fall by. And now they're going to look for more.
Dire's middle tower is under
See
attack.
Medusa just farming absolutely monstrously this game. Almost 5k ahead of Danielku on this Phantom Lancer. Jilong Kwa. Definitely a rich Medusa. TK, unfortunately, just gets caught by Sloth Tofu again. It seems like every time this silencer is on the screen of this Tiny, he is just getting evaporated.
Under attack.
And now they can just go up high ground with the Aegis advantage. They've got it for another 2 minutes, and Dai's defense is going to be very rough.
I just noticed you can see who has Aegis now on the UI, the update.
Yeah, there's some cool things they did. Yeah, Smoke and Aegis. I think Cheese gets shown as well now. So, yeah, they made it a lot easier for us.
Vicaroot? I thought he was maybe going to go for a blink duel there. Was eyeing it off. We were talking before about Qilongqua having a story to their name. What was that about?
Oh, it was just, man, I can't even remember the story. He was just a piss-taker memer for quite some time and just bullying people in the scene.
Oh no! Vicaroot is just going to get tossed into the enemy team. Absolutely blown up.
Yeah, I think he would just like throw games and do ridiculous stuff. He's a bit of a hater of BSJ. He's yeah, I mean, he's bullying Dai though. 16,000 net worth lead. Now you're just off the back of Danoku somehow spamming them out with the PL illusions. So, wow, see.
Might actually die to the illusions. Yes, indeed. That's gonna be Aegis getting procced here. In comes Stacey though. Chill OC is going to be the target. Does have the Aeon Disc to keep him alive for a little bit while longer. Meanwhile though, Qilongqua is just in the middle of things right now, popping those split shots. TK goes down. Stacey going to follow. WDK in the back, and now Danoku looking to be the next logical target here. But the illusions buying him enough time potentially. Unfortunately, we do see Vicaroot try to go in for a nice little duel there, and he's going to get melted down. Unfortunately, TK falls as well, and Danoku, last but not least, is finally gonna get melted down. And we talked about the threat of this late game Medusa, and we are seeing it in full display right here.
Yeah, that we are. Deuced too strong. I mean, unfortunately, the Phantom Lancer counter was not enough here as left right Unite. That's a key victory for them to pick up. If they could potentially 2-0 here, then it's really going to help out with their seeding.
Yeah, we'll definitely just have to wait and see. As we mentioned, this is a best of 2 series, so whether or not we do see none other than the left right good night side get the nice 2-0, or whether or not 5Headelaide do bounce back, get themselves the 1-1, it's going to be exciting to see. But overall, what would you say out of that game was, you know, the big flaw in 5Headelaide and their plan? I know you did put a lot of emphasis onto the draft and them not really having much in the way of a Medusa answer outside of that PL. Do you think they need to shape that up in game 2?
Don't play Legion 2. Itemization was kind of a bit of an issue from 5Headelaide. Some items that probably cost them the early game fights, and I'm sure there was issues with how they then could contest once Medusa had Aegis because of how defensively they itemized, and they weren't able to take early towers, which could mirror the map control that left right good night were having. They just had all their T1 towers up by like 16 minutes of the game, maybe even a bit longer, which gave them so much time to find farm, and they weren't getting as aggressively with Legion, Spirit Breaker, and Toss. So I think the biggest takeaway is the items issue. I think Vanguard and Shard on Legion just didn't help.
Definitely. Well, whether or not they can make the adjustments or not, you'll just have to stay tuned for game 2, won't you, right here to AEL Uni. Don't go anywhere. Hey folks, and welcome back. We're about to hop into our game 2 between RMIT, Left Right Good Night, and 5Headelaide.
Team ban.
Now, first game did have 5Headelaide sitting in a bit of a loss there. They just kind of got ran over by a very strong Tiny Ember gank combo, and as well as that, they had the Medusa for that late game insurance. Coming into game 2 here, hopefully they're looking to switch things up. What are we thinking here, Ares, as we
10
see
seconds
Omni
remaining.
Knight first banned yet again?
Radiant team ban.
Just go for some easy
team back.
heroes to execute. Nothing too crazy, nothing out of there. Go back for what's been working with you previously. Who knows? Maybe the Legion 2 has been working for them, but there's
Radiant team pick.
I don't put the hero as I don't highly
Dire
rate
team.
Legion, so that's that's a bit of a worry now. You're going up against Venge, so this is no fun. Have you seen many of the Venge Aghanim's games as of late?
Oh yeah, the position 3 Venge. Definitely,
Yes.
definitely very cool that
10 seconds.
Ice Rock gave a hero permanent Aegis for some reason.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, look, it's pretty broken. So they have tried to nerf it a little bit.
Team pick.
A little bit is the key way to describe it. And 5Headelaide actually got to be the ones to pick up the Bane here. So they don't have the Bane Mirana combo. But nonetheless, it's still a very, very solid laning stage hero that, again, I think is going to rise in popularity. So
10 seconds
I
remaining.
like that they picked it up.
Yeah, Bane definitely very
5
good
seconds
at making
remaining.
one player's life not very enjoyable. Kind of his thing. Him and Shadow Shaman, probably the two that do that the best.
Yeah, there's always some heroes you don't like to play as a carry. Just you're completely nulled out of a team fight. It's very, very fun, especially when you're not even a stun that you're getting. Sorry, not even a big ulti that you're getting affected by. Just like for some reason there's
Radiant team
stuns that
ban.
last 6-7 seconds. Yeah, it's very fun to play Dota into that.
Look like Hoodwink Abaddon is going to get locked in as well. What do we think about the Abaddon here? Aphotic Shield, maybe going to be getting a little bit of agency
Dire team ban.
to the Bane Hoodwink.
It's kind of interesting they picked the Abaddon into the Hoodwink though, just because of the break mechanic. So, yeah, that's a bit
Radiant team
surprising.
ban. Dire team ban.
It does give you a very strong safe lane support, and I would have to imagine they like giving Chylon Quad just like heavy farm intensive like win condition
Radiant
heroes, because they
team
picked the
ban.
Medusa pretty early and they're even going to ban the Medusa again. So I have to imagine they just, like giving him something that it gives them the win condition, and Eventual Spirit is a position 3 as well. Is not someone who can scale into the late game. I think all you need is Aghanims and you're completely okay with that, but just keep in mind he's not going to get a whole lot of farm afterwards because of the natural effect that it puts on your playstyle.
Yeah, the Quap getting banned out again as well. I could say that's got to be some kind of a target thing. Maybe Lincoln's Quap is well renowned or
Radiant
something of that
team.
nature, but we're going to see Brewmaster get pulled down here by 5Headelaide.
It's a great way to be able to deal with the Venge and the Abaddon, probably more in particular the Venge. So I like this picked up, in fact, for Dire. I haven't seen it yet to be an answer to the Venge, but it makes a lot of sense.
10
You just
seconds
completely
remaining.
avoid her in fights. I know we were just speaking about the Bane and Shaman, great ways to be able
5
to
seconds
just
remaining.
completely not worry about a carry or a call, whoever it be. But the Brewmaster can definitely do the same thing through the Primal Split. So if you feel like the Venge is the big issue, then just cycling that bad boy up into the air. You feel like the Abaddon's a big issue because of his survivability that he provides, and you do the same thing as well. But now there is a lot of defensive factors that you have to go through. You got now the, of course, the healing from the Witch Doctor, the Abaddon, and the Venge, which does make it a little bit
10
interesting that they've
remaining.
gone Witch and Abaddon, because these are both position 5s, and I don't
5
like them in any
seconds
other
remaining.
roles.
You don't think Abaddon works as a 4 at all?
No, not at all. He doesn't have playmaking, and he doesn't like. He's a very. I think a 4 needs to have some aggressive playstyle, and Abaddon only gets that through your tankiness with how you can position across the map, because you can like pop smokes and be the first one to be initiated on, and then it gives your team a little bit of time to be able to find their correct formation or set up a blockade on the higher ground. So I don't think Abaddon provide that. You know, you could Witch Doctor for which, because he has a stun, so at least he can be a playmaker, and he scales with a little bit more items than what the Abba does.
Dire team pick.
Drow Ranger.
Round, and that's a hero that I haven't seen in quite some time.
Okay, so it has to be Drow Abba. Otherwise, I don't want a double range lane, which they probably will.
10
Then
seconds
is it
remaining.
it could be Avenged 2, and then
5
they're looking
seconds
for
remaining.
their melee 3. They need some way to protect the Drow Ranger. Like Abaddon, as the game goes on, is decent, but it's definitely not the greatest. So my eyes though on 5Headelaide at the moment, how you can gap close on the Drow, and at least they have some answer. Now the Sven, at least he's gonna have the bonus armor in the Warcry, and Drow is pretty hefty on his physical damage, and he can itemize into a blink if he needs to, or potentially Shadowblade / Silver's Edge to help get on top of the Drow.
Definitely Silver Edge is a
5
item that's
seconds
seen
remaining.
a big surgence as of late, and fairly decent into the Abaddon and the Venge, as you mentioned. But these next couple
It's
of
also it's also a hero that gives you an immense amount of armor versus what Left Right Good Night have at the moment. You know, there's not a lot of magic. You've got the Venge for the extra amp in the Wave of Terror. Drow Ranger marksmanship goes through base armor, so it will. So that this is where the Sven giving the team bonus Warcry is even a bigger value this game versus someone like the Drow. So not only that he can itemize to get on top of her and just, you know, burst her through with your 3 swings of the sword, but he also offers a lot of defensive factors here and some way to farm ancients,
10
some way to hit
seconds
towers,
remaining.
a stun.
Radiant
It really
team
gave him
back.
everything they were lacking. So I'm a huge fan of this pick on for 5Headelaide.
Definitely we are seeing the spirits get banned out. The classic mobility mids being taken off the table. Storm Spirit and Ember Spirit. Final bans here for Left Right Good Night. We'll see what they go for.
10 seconds
I would imagine
remaining.
they would try and target position 2s here.
5 seconds remaining.
But again,
Yeah, we're looking for a way to gap close on the Drow. So with Ember, Storm ban,
Dire
Void
team
Spirit
back.
still a potential. I don't hate the Magnus ban just to further amplify the Sven, gives you more team fight. Who's got 23rd pick? Okay, so Radiant do. They need a tanky melee and an initiator. So DK, but it's into Hoodwink Break.
10 seconds
Don't need
remaining.
Tower Siege though, so don't worry about the DK.
5
I
seconds
don't believe it also has to be hero that, because you don't see the matchup of 5Headelaide, so you have to be cautious of what you pick. Because if you go for a hero that has a lot of laning stage counters, then you're gonna have a rougher time. So they Void Spirit themselves. It gives them a way to initiate and a stun. Maybe not as tanky as what I was hoping, but they do have a lot of survivability nonetheless with their first 3 heroes. So maybe they're not as worried about that.
themselves that Void Spirit being nice
10
and
seconds
mobile
remaining.
here. Looking for a position 2.
5 seconds
Go into
remaining.
the Void Spirit here in the mid lane. Anyone spring to mind as a bit of a Void Spirit counter here for this team?
Storm and Ember are both banned out, so they're the bigger ones. Might Puck just to have a mobile hero to get on the Drow. Trying to look through the hero list and see what else they have ways to get on top. I mean, whenever in doubt, go Invoker. A lot of these players like. Yeah, I think Puck, Invoker. There's not many ways now to gap close. You could Night Stalker 2, but that's banned out. Never mind. Cop. Is Cop left? Cop's a good matchup versus the Void.
Pop's banned.
They're pretty squishy on... Oh no, man. There's not a lot left. There's really not a lot left. Puck's not even that favored, though. A lot of people do not pick her. Or they. Okay, let me. So I've said what I think they need at least. You need a stun and a gap close on the Drow. You've got Sven that can take towers. Got a bit of team fight already, and they do puck. So I was like, what do they go, man? There's not a lot left. So the matchup versus the Void Spirit is, I think, pretty Void Spirit favored now, in fact, because Puck's damage has got nerfed, and Void's naturally going to have, like, he's more than likely going to build in the Quelling Blade, which is plus 12 damage than what the Puck will have. So at least CSing, Void will have a better time. I think trading's easier as well, because even though it's a ranged melee matchup, you can... It depends. If Vicar comes out to the lane with a bunch of stats and doesn't go bottle till later on, maybe he can out-harass the Void and get like a free wave or two. But if he comes out to the lane with like Tangos and maybe like a Circlet and Branch, then and he just rushes bottle, then I think Voids should be able to outwin this lane. As the game goes on though, they both have a lot of control. The nice thing with the Void Spirit into the Puck is that you have more guaranteed control in the Yules into Aether Remnant and also the Aghanims that will be picked up eventually.
By the way, we are going to hop into our game 2 here.
Prepare for battle.
Between these two teams, we've got RMIT, Left Right Good Night versus 5Headelaide game 2. Want to have another quick mention of our sponsors, Ares, before we hop into this one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Chatime, of course, with their fresh iced tea, and you can try the new range today at your local stores. The AOC, which is quite often and always, in fact, when you have a monitor of their caliber, the best viewing experience. And it can just give you a stylish new look to some of your home office or gaming, your arenas or rooms. Indomie, feed your game and try out their new flavors today, and then rig what it takes to win beautiful headsets that deliver superior audio quality. And this is again an important game for either team, just trying to set the stage here for the playoffs that are soon to start to occur next week. We will have still a couple long weeks of playoffs, so they will not be all over the 1 week basis, which is going to be exciting. Give teams a little bit more time to work on their strats and work on their heroes. But for the side of Dire, they're looking to really try and even up this best of 2 and go into the playoffs with a little bit of momentum.
The battle begins.
Certainly would be good. I know that TK is on this Hoodwink here, and this is a hero that we've seen TK show definitely a bit of proficiency on. I know that in some of his debut games that I did watch, he showed fairly prominent performance on this pick, even when this was, quite a while ago, like weeks and weeks ago, when Hoodwink was maybe even fairly new to the game, and was definitely already looking very comfortable on the pick. So I'm excited to see how this offlane ends up panning out.
It's a hero that I think was nerfed pretty heavily with that bushwalk damage being over time instead of the instant damage. I think a lot of, some of the people I spoke to said they did not like that change at all. I mean, Acorn Shot got buffed up a little bit. I cannot remember if his Aghanims got nerfed at all. Stacey's? I am a huge fan of this safe lane that Radiant have as well. I mean, the Abaddon with a Drow can actually have a decent amount of kill threat. Just if I really want to see Slane go for an early level in Curse of Avernus, and definitely second level because he's got the Orb of Venom at the moment. So you have some potential to body the Hoodwink or even the Brewmaster, who's got very low armor.
Yeah, the slows that these two can pump out is definitely quite something to behold for sure. And Stacey's just kind of copping a little bit of bullying at the moment from this Drow Chilonqua. Chucking those arrows, those frost arrows as much as he can.
So how's our mid main looking at the moment? Boy, sitting pretty comfortable. What did Vicar come out with? Got Circlet, Null, Circlet, Mantle, one set of Tangos. So it was both bottles coming through. Void's got his a little bit earlier, so it looks like still the range. What's the damage difference? 61 compared to the 64, but keep in mind he's getting the plus 12 from the Quelling Blade, so up to 76 from the Void, at least CSing, so should have a better time. But the Quelling Blade's not going to help with his survivability and also the damage that Puck is doing at the moment. But I think at this stage, either position 2s have some outplay potential, but I think it should just be the farm fest now with the bottles, and it's really going to come down to some rotations to the sides.
We do see Daniel Q dropping fairly low here, up in the top side.
Yeah, they've got a Daniel Q.
They might actually have him here with...
They do?
Yeah, that is going to be a very, very dead Sven, unfortunately. Maledict just doing a bit too much.
So this is... He's already got 2 points, Maledict. And they have a decent amount of physical armor reduction now, because Witch Doctor went Blightstone. Level 1 wave is -3 armor. So WDK is going to have 0. And Witch Doctor's a support that actually hits pretty hard, and Venge as well. So all these stuns to lock you in place. Like, this is a cool kill combo. But I wonder if Dai could play it a little bit more aggressive. Like, the fact that WDK needs to expend a little bit more of his mana, and Daniel Q as well just came back to the lane and chuck out a Stormhammer and the Warcry. Oh, bottom lane? Hoodwink?
I just need you to know.
Alright.
The drow.
Yeah, they are just getting
One
bullied
less
here.
enemy
Qilong
now.
Kwa showing some prominence on this Drow Ranger.
See if his Drow is as good as his Huskar, though. Sorry, as his Medusa. No, I said a Huskar. I was thinking Tuskar and then went to Huskar. Anyway, he's still a hero
Are
who
you even trying?
Surprise!
I mean, again, I think there's a lot of pressure on Danoku. I thought his PL last game could deal with the Medusa, and I think it's the same this game for the Sven to be able to deal with the Drow Ranger, but it's going to come down to how many stacks they start to create for him. I mean, Hoodwink 4 minutes in hasn't even thought about going back and making stacks at the Ancients, and this is partly the reason because they haven't blocked their own hard camp to reset the creep equilibrium. This would be a perfect time, though, for TK. He doesn't need to play this lane. With how the lane is set up at the moment, with the Brewmaster CSing next to his tower, means there's no need for Hoodwink to be where he is. So just go back, stack up the jungle, and give your solo experience. Yeah, he's going to do that now.
Yeah, look at the auto attacks coming through. Even with the evasion, still so much bullying getting done here, but overall looking at the last hits, he's not doing horribly. He's only 1 behind Qilong Kwa.
Pucker's taken over a little bit mid lane. What's the net worth? So it's only 200 advantage. I have to imagine it's a little bit more of him taking the small camp creeps top lane. Witch Doctor will go down.
DK out of mana.
Well, TK's even rotating top. Okay, well, Brewmaster's got no lane now. So, Slane and the Drow should just run at her. I mean, Abaddon should be able to solo zone out Sacy. So the fact that he's not trying to find the Brewmaster at the moment, it's a little bit interesting. But mid lane, but Voidspeed all of a sudden just took over in the last hit. So yeah, it's really going to be off the back of who's shoving out the mid lane fast and then going back to farm up the small. Void will have a haste rune to utilize. I'd like to see him get active with it. Top lane, maybe if you can enable the Vengeful Spirit, he's a great person to gank to. Let's see if they TP on the Void.
It's going to be Nightmare popped and Anaku with the Storm Fist. An easy pickup on the Storm Tofu.
Brady will hit a huge timing by like 15 minutes in with the one item in Aghanims, and then Drow's a hero that can come online pretty fast. I don't think you want to go late versus Sven, so would really like to see them enable the Vengeful Spirit up top, and it looks like Void's going to try and do that now, but it's too late. Look at the placement in the creep equilibrium. There's no one going to be there with farming underneath that T1 tower, so I just want to see them try and gank and help the Venge get her closer to the Aghanims, because she's pretty useless without her through the 7 to 14 minutes, which is a long time.
Yeah, one thing that's really cool to see here, though, is we do see both supports up here working in unison to stack at the same time, making all these stacks for this Sven. They've even found Chill caught warding at the wrong time, and he is just going to get taken out nice and simply. But Danelku is going to have an absolute farming spree right here in this Dire side jungle by the looks of things.
Yeah, they haven't stacked the... I mean, they've stacked the Ancients once. I wonder... It's a question that I do not have the answer to. Like, you've got 2 kills top. You've stacked the medium and the hard. And in fact, you've stacked the medium twice, both the camps. But you're not putting as much emphasis on the Ancients, which I guess you're going to have some time to it. Maybe you'll have, like, you know, Sven... You've secured top now. Like, it could have gotten pretty rough through this stage of the game, like level 5s, because Venge can actually do a lot of damage, and Witch Doctor as well with high levels Maledict. So maybe you've secured top, and you can send TK back around to bottom, because I think the Hoodwink wants to be playing by the triangle and then around mid, just in case Vikarut looks to try and make a rotation. So then the Venge can so the Hoodwink can soak up some of the experience mid. But they are... it's also, you know, you're completely shutting down the Venge, which I have said that this is a hero that doesn't do much without the Axe mid lane.
Yeah, the Bushwhack is going to connect up top side, though. Nether swap on the Sloth Tofu. They're looking for him. In comes Slain with the TP. The Nightmare gonna connect, but no, he is gonna get out of there alive. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Vikarut gonna find himself getting ganked up by Chill. Taken out.
Harm unseen.
Here comes the rotation. They did see the Void Spirit heading top, though, so the Invis is not going to catch them off guard. So TK's still by.
We find Danelku here, goes forward, looking to cut him off potentially. Stormhammer trying to buy a little bit of distance between him and himself. They have forced out the rotations here, though. From Vikarut.
Even Brew's coming.
The puck is here. Dream Coil available. Connects onto 2. Goes forward. Gets the silence. They're looking to melt down both members here. But Danelku isn't there. He's also very, very low. Not yet level 6. God Strength not available. And we were talking about this Vengeful Spirit damage, and we're seeing it on full display right here. As he nearly melts down Vikarut, and only a couple of auto attacks with the Wave of Terror.
Well, that's disaster that was somehow avoided. I thought the Brew rotation was going to be a big issue for Radiant, but we didn't see the Primal Split used, and Chylon Quarry's Love and Life is about 4,000 net worth now. It's highest in the game, working on the Drangolance. And he's putting a lot of damage onto the tower now with this next creep wave coming forward. He's not going to continue hitting, okay, but... yeah, we could see the Drow just TP top and take that tower, unless she's pretty content with farming at the moment. You know, definitely the choice does have to be careful, because I would like to see Dire now start to play around bottom instead of top with their next rotations.
Yeah, I feel like Drow is a hero that normally if you just have an off lane and a mid lane that is capable of just getting on top of her, she can get pushed out of lane fairly easily here. But we've seen, you know, 10 minutes into the game, Drow yet to really be pushed out of this safe lane, even by herself, is now in the jungle. But, you know, she's definitely had a wonderful time, and we're seeing that reflected in the net worth.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Sven is going to get some catch up, though.
Dire's top tower is
They
under
should
attack.
stack the Ancients once more. Hard stacked up as well that Vikarut might take. In fact, they're going to look to smoke. They are directing towards the Drow.
Dire's middle
He's
tower
about to show
is
in the
under
middle
attack.
lane, so let's see if they also path on forward. Oh. This is no good. Tank
Things
of a
do come down.
Dragonlance, though.
Orb in, Stormhammer to keep her in place. Dreamcall going to be connecting, as well as the Fiend's Grip. Danelku trying to do the most with the auto attacks, but in comes Slain. The heal comes through. He's going to get hit by the Nightmare, though. Now WDK going to be the one to have to run away the best he can, but Lincoln's is here. The damage is there to follow, and WDK going to get taken down. And it looked like it was going to be Dire finding themselves a cheeky pick onto the position 1, but it was indeed the Radiant who come out victorious.
The Dragonlance, that was the X Factor. The fact that he had the Ocean Heart as well, so just 5 extra attributes. It's 100 health right there, so you love to see it. Gank avoided, continuing to farm. Void Spirit second in net worth as well. Lincoln's is working on your scepter. And also the big issue is Sloth is also under pressure top.
Stacey looking to get aggro with the primal split. Gonna chase him down here. Sun comes through. Oh my goodness, the brain sap damage to finish him off there. You're seeing Lincoln's though getting quite aggressive onto WDK. Tornado comes through to get a little bit of distance between himself and the others. Find themselves a nice little pickup there into the Radiant offlane.
Another big one to find, the Venge of the moment, 2 deaths. So we are seeing this Aghanim slowed down a little bit. I mean, at least somehow he's still only 300 gold behind the position 2, and he's 1,000 up of his counterpart. So I guess they're still having a good time as they're going to instantly head back to top.
AC just getting caught out there. Finished off. TK has to watch out for himself. Can't help but feel like Radiant are definitely going to be finishing off this top lane, safe lane tower though. Dire grouping up in the mid lane themselves though. They might look for a siege on this mid lane tower, potentially.
This is twice now where where the side of 5Headelaide haven't traded towers or haven't even thought about taking bot. Like they're just 3 heroes standing around mid, which is going to continue to cost them a lot of map control and also in time just a big reduction in gold and experience that they can get. Because now if they go bottom, Radiant have ample time to bring their reinforcements down, or they can just take the tier 1 mid. So like you're behind in the to-do list and it's going to cost you.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Sven needs to be here. You got God Strength, you need to be with the team taking objectives. You're not just a farming hero. God Strength is one of the best ways to help take objectives, and if they don't even get bottom, this is going to be very difficult.
Oh, Vicar going to get swapped out there. In comes Danoku with the God Strength, like you mentioned, though. He's going to look to start going onto the Vengeful Spirit. They're caught up in the Dream Coil. Borrowed Time comes through from Slain, but unfortunately, the damage from Danoku just isn't there. Sloth Tofu proving too tanky on this Vengeful Spirit. He's going to live to see another day, and that is going to be 4 members of the Dire side getting taken out here.
See, that's the issue that I was bringing up before. You are behind on the to-do list, so you feel forced to take bot, but also forced to defend mid. So you bring 4 heroes instead of the 5 without the Brewmaster, who's a lot of your team fight early in the split. They probably win that fight with Brew, honestly, just cycling up the Drow Ranger. But then, yeah, you get bottom, but you also lose mid and take an unfavorable fight. So that's just the fight selection decision. It comes back to game 1 and game 2 now, where they just weren't in a position to contest the opposition safe lane tower at a little bit too late of a timing, and now they feel like, you know, we're in a desperate position. We have to change the status quo of this game. We're 15 minutes in, 4,000 gold behind, so let's smoke up and see who we can find. But this is not the easiest catch, especially nighttime now.
Lincoln's no mana, pops the big pole,
I'll take that.
himself a little bit of distance.
Now, Sazy, I hope he's going to start queuing up the Aghanim Scepter. Still, any Brewmaster, this is a key item for him, considering that it provides you 2 ultimate charges, and they're going to look to try and defend mid. This is a good ward on Dire. Behind this tier 1 tower will give them a lot of information.
They're going to go into chill, and my goodness, the brain sap damage combined with sharpshoot. So much. Chill is going to get melted down. WDK going to be the next target to follow. Nightmares himself to get a little bit of time. It might not be enough. Yes, it is. In comes Danoku. Pops the God Strength. Looking for Sloth Tofu. Hopefully he's not going to get away this time. Pops the Nether Swap to get himself a little bit of distance, but Vicaroot is there with the Illusory Orb. Lincoln's going to be next one on the chopping block now as TK trying to chase him down. He actually gets turned on here though. Lincoln's has the auto attacks. Might look to finish off TK, but no. In comes Vicaroot with another Illusory Orb over the wall onto the high ground. Finishes him off, and Slain, caught lacking, does have the borrowed time to buy himself a little bit of distance, but the Nightmare from WDK locking him down in place, and that is going to be a clean fought victory for the Dire.
completely different fight. Now they take it with all 5 here. We see the brew, what we was able to provide there, just controlling one hero, completely nullifying them out of the fight. They're going to be cautious sticking around for too long, though. They are aware of this. Daniel Koo now is farming underneath the ward, but yeah, that fight, again, I highlighted at the start, this ward placement on Dire, it's perfect in between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower, and we saw how much usage they were able to get out of it.
Harm shall I deal?
Yeah, definitely very clever ward, knowing the exact gap where it is between the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower in terms of their vision ranges, and being able to plant that one down. He's still farming up here, though. Not far behind Drow in the net worth.
The big fight, he may have got 1 kill off that fight, but a lot of assist gold. And also time as well, that he was just able to go straight back to farming. So the Drow had to reset his resources, TP out, so... And still the Sven is a hero that does farm a lot faster. So you see this net worth difference with his early objectives, kind of minimized now. And now what about Dire? Let's look at them. Any items we... Okay, so I like that the Brews queued up the items. Of course, there's still going to be a bit away. Actually, the big one really to break this game open is the Venge. And they have to give... Oh my god, she's really poor. I'm not a huge fan of this smoke. You need the Venge Ags. You're not on a timer at all. Just give Sloth some time.
Ooh, TK. Fortunately gets caught out there by Lincolns. It's made a quick and easy pick up there for the Void Spirit.
It's not an important kill though. Like Hoodwink's doing what he needs to do. Like quite often when you don't have a tier 1 tower mid, you put a support there that can shove out the lane, and you just offer like you pretty much are the tower. You cannot smoke past him, otherwise it's going to be blocked, and the other team and your team will then get recognition, and you're getting creep kills that your cores don't want to be in, because that's going to more than likely compromise their position, potentially die. So that's 100% okay. That's what you want your supports to be doing. People may think it's feeding. Yeah, you're giving up a kill. It's not worth it. They're not getting any objectives out of it. And it was also some time that Sloth wasn't farming. So he's back up the top. Again, this is super important that he is able to find an Aghanims as early as possible.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Looks like he has it on the way.
It's 19 minutes in. Smoke up.
There's going to be Dream Coil connecting itself onto this Witch Doctor. The Sharpshoot comes through, and yes, indeed, Stacey going to finish that one off.
Alright, so Radiant now need a smoke when they get Ags, and they know the split's on cooldown. So someone needs to prioritize Sloth's farm. Might even sell a Wraith Band if they really feel like he needs some farm, because I would love to see them go with Primal Split now on cooldown. They've got a 115-second window until that one's back up. Drow has got Sanjin Yash, and yep. So alright, so you've got a D-Ward around mid, because that's quite often where they're going to try and connect to then look to smoke. Oh, this is your farm, man. This is... You got to tell... You got to know when you're the one that needs to be farming. It's always the position ones. Are you a position 1 player, or...
I don't know, right?
Damage redoubled.
Traditionally, yeah, but these days, just been playing whatever, really.
Okay, so if you're playing whatever, then not as much. But you know, position 1s, when you were back in that time of playing, you're telling everyone, this is my farm. You know, get the hell away from here. I'm the one that's getting all the kills. Screw you. But no, in a game like this, Sloth, he needs to be the man of the house. He needs to tell the team what's up. They need these Aghanims. This is smoke without it.
Ooh, Stacey gets caught out here, though. The Nightmare comes through. Might not have enough time to get the split off. No, indeed. The silence lasting a little bit too long. They do find the magic missile as well onto Daniel Koo. He's a little bit tanky, though. Turns around with the God's Strength. Gets blown up by Qilongqua in no time at all. We do see Bane going to be next on the chopping block there. WDK getting taken down. And now Radiant looking for this mid lane tier 2. The glyph comes through, but will only delay the inevitable.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I spoke from Radiant. Tier 2 tower now claimed. You got the outpost potential to control. Let's try and take bottom tower. So this will be Very difficult to defend on Dire considering they did expend God Strength. They will have Coil up in 40, Primal Split as well. So yeah, I don't believe there's any way to defend it. Aghanim's now completed on Sloth, so this is what you love to see. And you know, Trial and Quaz also almost got the 4-staff completed. So and almost Aghanim's on Lincoln's. This is a big timing here for the boys on Radiant. They're going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, definitely. Sloth having a statement there. Why farm to Aghanim so I can fight when I can fight to finish my Aghanims?
Oh, they caught the puck in the river.
Double tornado. WDK does pop the Nightmare. Maybe get this Vicar Root a little bit of distance, but no, the Nether Swap comes through. It's going to be a very dead puck.
I believe they need Abba for Roche. You want the Curse and also someone to tank. How many points in Voodoo there? They got 2. Okay. I like this though. You get the kill, straight into the objective. They recognize that pretty early as well. Someone must have called it out. And you've got level, I have to imagine it's maxed out wave. It's also, you're playing with a range here with Vengeance Aura. It doesn't really have to be ranged anymore, but the base damage bonus is really nice for someone like the Drow Ranger because you quite often don't build
Radiant's top tower
plus damage. It's just a lot of stats for the Drow quite often.
Aegis on this Drow. They're going to look to Macho safe lane, push this in.
Now, what are Dire close to? CC, still a little bit away from Aghanims. That's a huge timing on Dire, just for more of an uptime in regards to Primal Split. Vicarroot's going E-Blade next item. Okay. Mainly eyes on Denoku. He's still looking to complete the BKB. He can always disassemble the Echo Saber if he feels like that's a must, which I would not hate this game. He could disassemble BKB, then go into Orchid. A little bit of control versus the Void Spirit wouldn't hurt. It depends on how much time that Radiant are going to give them. I'd love to see them just brute force down the top tower, considering they're probably the strongest team right now with their items picked up and the Aegis advantage.
Looking for this top side safe lane. Chilanqua doing just Dragon Pike carrier things. Smacking this tower down from out of range.
Yeah, cool. There's a lot of cool concepts in Dota, but being able to also hit from out of range. Now, this I do not like. This is where I could definitely, it might not happen. I feel like you potentially lose all 5 here, plus the Aegis. Bob, this game, anxiety. Don't do it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is looking like a risky one. They can maybe swap Aether Remnant on top of the Venge. Well, there we go.
I do find Venge, but Venge not going to get taken out because the Aghanims is very cool. And come Stacey though, with that Primal Split, does look like Slain is going to be the first target to get tornadoed up into the air. Sloth Tofu getting hit by the Bushwhack up in the front. Him and Chilled maybe getting melted down, but TK actually gets hit with a ton of damage from Sloth Tofu, and he's going to fall. Sloth Tofu's still alive on this illusion at the moment. Danoku, though, is in the middle of things. God Strength available, but he just can't connect with anyone with these melee auto attacks. He does find Lincolns for a couple before he's ended up getting taken down. Lincolns maybe looking for WDK in the backline, but it's just Stacey and WDK that are left. Radiant have somehow turned this one around from what looked like a disastrous situation. Stacey doing his best to try and run away, but I'm afraid Chilanqua with those frost arrows so hard to get away from. He does end up managing to make it back to the fountain. WDK spamming that brain sap as much as he can to try and get them off of his racks.
Yeah, that fight is off the back of multiple things. One, the Abaddon actually shielded up the target who was Fiend's Grip, so that was just nick of time saving. The start was also came off the back that Lincoln's is actually going to jump in again. Off the mark.
Could find WDK here, and yes indeed. Nice little pick up on the Bane.
Good Aegis for another minute 20, so they can probably stick around. Lincoln's does need some mana. The Venge is back alive.
Dire's top barracks are under attack. Dire's top barracks has fallen.
All right. Full set of barracks now claimed.
Dire's top
Are they even going to think about mid? Got a little bit down on cooldown. Unrelentless pressure coming through from Radiant. Trying to push on forward, take a tier 3 tower. We'll see what Dire can do to defend it with a lot of ultimates on cooldown. I mean, it's going to be tricky. You just got the Agdams on the Brewmaster, so well, this could be a big fight.
Yeah, Dreamcore does connect onto 2 here up in the front. Sloth Tofu does get taken down, but he has that illusion available. Second swap of the fight does connect onto Vicarud. Here comes Danoku though. God Strength, Pop, Chill, OCE getting melted down in a few short auto attacks from this Sven. But Sloth Tofu, he's doing wonders on this illusion time and time again. We see Sacy with the split trying to melt down Qilong Kwa, but if he has the damage, that's another thing up for debate. Vicarud does end up backing off out of the fight, and it looks like they're going to find themselves Sacy as well. After the split does finish up, and Vicarud going to be the only one left here to defend this push against a whole 4 members. Still ensuing, and that is going to be GG called.
Wow. My guy just rage quit straight away. That's a tough one for the side of Dire. I mean, 5Headelaide, that's not the momentum you want heading into the playoffs, isn't it? I mean, now this is a big question on how they're going to be able to perform, because it's a worry with how things are looking. They just got dismantled in both those games. The fact that the side of RMIT were able to recognize their timings and just didn't give a damn about pushing high ground. The individual plays we saw come out as well from those fights. Void Spirit recognized his job just to annoy the backline, silence the Void, control him, kite him as much as possible, kind of deal with the Bane. That was the big fight up top by that T3 tower siege, where the Void really started and did an incredible job, and it continued on with how he was just annoying and creating as much chaos as possible. But this is a little bit worrying, because I mean, for the side of, again, 5Headelaide, I mean, you're now in contention, like, of potentially the tiebreakers here. I mean, everyone right now is guaranteed, of course, to make it into the playoffs, but the fact that because RMIT 2-0'd them, then they've got a tie between, and I believe it now comes down to time rating between 5Headelaide and Left Right Good Night. So that's just at least for seeding, but I mean, you've got to argue you're a bit worried heading into playoffs with the fact that your last group stage match, one of your carries just rage quit.
Yeah, definitely is not a great start at all for this 5Headelaide lineup, and we'll have to see if they could bounce back in the playoffs, which I mean is going to be our next week of games really that we do see. So hopefully they have enough of a turnaround in this kind of week interim to get their mental back together and make sure that they can have it all for the playoffs. But I'm going to be excited to see if they can make that bounce back, honestly.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited to see as well. I mean, this was a team prior to this series that were in second place, 4 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. So if 5Headelaide were 5Headelaide, we're looking good. Yeah, we've seen them previously, have been very impressed with their overall performance, but just felt like there were things they needed to work on, and hopefully like I said, the week interim will give them a little bit of time to recover and get their mental state back after a series like this, and also work on some individual and team things as well. There's plenty of time, but we're getting I say there's plenty of time, but it's about to get to the playoffs where next week. Or they are commencing. Of course, I believe it's the upper bracket, lower bracket. So you should have double elimination, which will at least give you 2 chances, but really don't actually have that much time. You can't keep making those mistakes.
Certainly. Well, I mean, we are heading into playoffs, so if you want to stay up to date, viewers at home, make sure you follow all of the social medias. That's at AU Esports League over on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of those great places to make sure that you don't miss a single game, whether it not just be Dota, but also CSGO, Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, all of the great games that we've got going on here for the Season 2 of the Uni League. I believe they're all basically heading into playoffs around the same time, so it should definitely be a very exciting time to check it all out. As well as that, make sure you are following, of course, the Twitch stream, so you can watch them all right here, and that is twitch.tv/AEL Uni and twitch.tv/AEL Uni 2. As well as that, of course, make sure to check us out here. Obviously, Kadius Casts and Ares HD over on Twitter to catch what we're all up to. And as well as that, Ares, if you want to mention our lovely sponsors that are bringing everybody the second season one last time before we head on out of here.
Yeah, Chatime, of course, the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia. They've got innovative flavor combinations with mixing and quality ingredients as well. AOC, which have provided a incredible monitor display technology for more than 50 years. And they also, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, or gaming. Indomie, which is a natural resource from Indonesia, giving it a unique taste and delicious flavoring as well for any of your needs when you just need a quick meal to get in before a queue. And then Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamings at all levels.
Certainly, well, folks, you'll just have to wait and see next time. But, I mean, that was RMIT Left Right Good Night coming out with a nice 2-0 over AU 5Headelaide. And this is Kadius on the desk with Ares. We'll catch you next time.